What's going on? We got one more day left in the year. 2020 is the year to get dollar bills. 2020 is the year to change your economic circumstances. 2020 is for you to begin on your path to $150,000 per year. This begins the process. I want you guys to take notes. I want you guys to write this stuff down. 2020 is the year of the dollar bill. That's when you're going to get more dollar bills. 2020 is the year that you're going to get your financial situation straight. 2020 is the year that you're going to begin the process of generational wealth. Everyone talks about generational wealth. You know, Tone talks, Yvette Cardell, but no one decides to be the person that begins the generational wealth. It's talked about, but it starts with one person. It starts with one person who says, I'm going to be that person that's going to start developing the generational wealth. I'm going to put the systems, the processes, the property, the economics in place to leave to the next generation. One person. That's where it starts. And I think that person is you for your family. You're that person who's going to begin the generational wealth process, because it's a process. Like Wells Fargo. The people who founded Wells Fargo have been dead and gone for the longest times. Wells Fargo was started before the Great Depression. But Wells Fargo is still around. Wells Fargo's making billions of dollars for the family. Let me go ahead and jump into this. Wells Fargo. Hold on. Founder. Henry Wells, 1852. In 1852, Henry Wells and William Fargo founded Wells Fargo and Company to serve the West. The new company offered banking, buying gold and selling paper drafts as good as gold, and express rapid delivery of the gold or anything else of value. Wells Fargo was started in 1852. So in 1952, before the majority of the people who are watching this live stream were born, it was 100 years old. Henry Wells is gone. William Fargo's gone. But their relatives are still here, enjoying that Wells Fargo money. So once again, I'm speaking to you if you're part of the 75 million Americans that make $33,000 a year or less. You can do better. You could do much better. You could do way, way better. Because your situation is you work hard every day. You're going on these jobs. You're doing what you need to do. You're showing up. You're working as hard as you can. And economically, it just doesn't seem to be getting better. Economically. You know, tax season is about to come up. A lot of y'all gonna ball out during tax season. I want every day for you to be like tax season. I want you to get a check like your tax season check. I want you to get a check like that every month. So every month is like tax season for you. Oh, just to let y'all guys know that the first of the year, the prices of everything is going up. I'm rearranging some stuff. I'm setting some stuff up. So just like if you were waiting, you need to pull that trigger. because with digital education, the art of holding, I'm going to reconfigure all that stuff and get that going. And the business classes will be starting. Just letting you know that. But once again, 2020 is the year of the dollar bill. You got to put it in your mind that you're going to make more money. You got to put this in your mind that you're going to make these economic changes for yourself. And let's just talk about my single men. My single men, I want you making $150,000 per year as a single man. That is going to dramatically improve the trim that you will be able to get. Because once you get to 150, you're going to live in a better area. You're going to drive a better car. The people that you associate with day to day are going to change unless you choose to make 150 and live in the hood. And let's talk about that. This is why living in the hood is a bad idea. I know you might be one of those people. I want to be an example. Here's the thing. The kids who can be saved, they've already found examples. And they ain't in their neighborhood. You know what's there? The drug man, the pimp man. That's the neighborhood star. Or someone who played ball and went division D1, then got an NFL contract. Those are those heroes. Not you who are working a highly paid tech job, living in a house because the rent's cheap, and you go to work and you come home. They see you living, but they don't see what you do. They don't understand. They don't get you. So you're trying to do something noble and no one's paying attention. So don't live in the hood. You want to get yourself together where you're living in an area that you can network and connect. You want to get yourself in an area where you can level up, because this is an immutable law of nature. Water seeks its own level. Like, if I got water in this cup, whatever way I go, that water's going to level out. Water will always seek its own level. And this is common with people. I live in zip code 30327. The wealthiest zip code outside of a few zip codes in Florida in the South. What is drawing all of these people to this neighborhood? They could go to Southwest Atlanta and get the same house for a third or half off. What's drawing all of these people to this area? Connections, networking, the ability to go to a restaurant and be sitting in the restaurant and the guy at the next table is the CEO. And you've got a brilliant conversation going on with your folk, and the CEO is like, man, that's a sharp guy. Maybe we need him over at our company. These things don't happen in the hood, but they happen in this neighborhood every day. People make connections, people grow, people get more money, people level up. So I want you guys to say 2020 is the year of financial prosperity. I don't care how tore up, I don't care how broke you may be right now. That's right now. That's going to change. I speak from experience. I was so broke that my teeth were hurting and I could not afford to go to the dentist. And I had to go walk around the corner to the Kroger get some oral gel and rub it on my gums so I could hope to sleep when this was going on. So I don't speak from a lofty position. I speak from experience that if I can make it out of that situation, your economics can improve. You just got to make the decision to take your economics to the next level. It's a decision. It's a decision. It just doesn't happen. And I want you to be sick and tired of living the way that you're living. I want you to I can do better. I'm going to do better. I'm going to get my personal finances together. I'm going to start me a service business as my first business. Get that rolling. Because 2020 is the year of economic prosperity. Now, there's some of you who, I can't start a business. Or there's some of you, I don't want the responsibility of a business. You understand how many jobs you can get that pay a lot of money? I was in that boarding house. And because of Earl Nightingale lead the field, and I sat down and I thought, what can I do to get a better job? And the solution was, I'm going to lie. I'm going to tell some tall tales that I worked for this fictitious company and it got me in. Now, once I got in, I had to perform. I had to tap dance. And this is what I continued my self-education. I read books on cold calling. I read books on sales. Because I was making, my base pay was $45,000 a year. The average half of America right now makes $13,000 to $15,000 less than what I walked into the door. $45K plus commission. So this was more money than I even made in the hospital, unless I was doing crazy overtime and working my part-time gigs. Most money I made from one job. So you've got to put yourself in a position to get a better job. Because you may not be ready, because like me, I wasn't ready to go off and be an entrepreneur. It took me 3 job leaps: Rent-A-Crate, Panel Systems Unlimited, Business Environments. And I started my company when I had a job. I didn't go off here like, hey, I'm just out here. And then when I left Business Environments, I had close to $200K in the bank. So my bills were going to be paid. My child support was going to be paid no matter what. And I ran this company, and fortunately for me, that I wasn't foolish with my money. And at the end of my first year selling new office furniture, where I sold $1.5 million worth of furniture and only elked out a $35,000 to $40,000 profit, I still had $180,000 in the bank to start off into the storage auction business. See, this is why I want you guys to make $150,000 a year. Once you get to that income, you can start getting rid of debt. You can start paying bills. At that level, you can invest $50,000 a year into something. You, as a single man, I'm still talking to my single men. You're making $150,000 a year. Even with taxes, you can still invest $50,000 into something. You could get into real estate on a real level. At $150K a year, with leverage, you could buy yourself a rental property every year at $150K. I know a chick that I was dating. She had 5 rental properties, and she went to a small community bank, and she probably could have got up to 10 loans if she wanted, because she had 5, and they were like, every time I go in there and I apply, I get approved. But she was buying $60,000 to $100,000 homes, and that's where she kept her real estate investing dollars. That's where she was. So I want you guys to write down tonight, 2020 is my year. I'm going to tell you something about writing down goals and the power of writing down goals. When I was in that boarding house, well, not the boarding house, I was in the East Point house. I wrote down some goals and I just shoved them in the drawer. A year later, I found those goals and I had completed each and every one of those goals just by writing them down. That gives you power, that gives you clarity, that gives you additional energy, that gives you the game. So I want you guys to write down your goals. I want you to write down how much money you want to make. It's like, and this is something you could do not tonight. In 2 to 3 years, I'll be making $150,000 a year. Now, let's unpack how that works. Wherever you are right now, doesn't matter. Because 2 to 3 years is enough time for you to come up. See, this is one of the reasons that a lot of people's goals don't work out. Ridiculously compressed timelines. That they are so short that they don't give their goals enough time to breathe and grow. So I want you to write down tonight, in 2 to 3 years, I will be making $150,000 per year. Write that down. Because what that's going to do is activate that part of your brain that needs something to aim at. Because your subconscious mind is going to like, oh, 150K, let's start working on that. And you write it down tonight, you're going to do it quicker than 2 to 3 years. Because you wrote it down, it's an intention. It's an intention. And essentially, all you're doing is activating and optimizing yourself. That's what you're doing. You're optimizing yourself. You're activating yourself. What you're doing is creating a want. You're creating that desire, but you're creating a target. $150,000 a year in 2 to 3 years. How are we gonna hit that? And don't even worry about how you're gonna get there. Don't even worry about how you're gonna get there. Your goal is to activate the target. I don't care if you are working at Crystal's making fries right now. Don't care. I worked worse jobs, much lower paying jobs. You got to go ahead and get it in your head. I'm going to make some more money. You got to get that in your head. You got to get that in your mental. You got to start be thinking about that versus LeBron's stats or how beast mode went over that pile. Seahawks almost won that game yesterday. They were literally inches away. And they're going to the playoffs anyway. 2020's level up season. Exactly. Because this year, I want this year to be a fixture, because I know that some of you have watched me for years and you've never taken action. I want 2020 to be the year that you take some action, that you get started working on whatever you need to work on. You start exploring business models that you can do. You start exploring stuff that works within your strengths. You start producing, activating that target. Because Benjamin E. Mays said, man isn't guilty of, man's greatest sin is low aim. I want you to think about this. And we're going to go a little disruptive male here. This is something I put on the channel, and it was called Your Dream Girl Profile. And I had men after man after man saying, man, I started dating better chicks. You know what the Dream Girl Profile is? For you to sit down, pen and paper, there's the pen, there's the paper, and write down the attributes of your dream girl. And what's going to happen is you're going to activate the target. Because see, once you sit down and start to think, what do I want out of life? Once you start to think like, what do I want out of life? Then you take the pen. It's a fountain pen. It's kind of fancy. You take the pen, you apply the pen to paper, and you activate the target. Because I'm going to bring my course, Script Your Days, to B School for Hustlers. I'm going to probably do that tomorrow. Because there is power in clarity. There is power in clarity. See, this is what happens with the Dream Girl Profile. You sit down and you write down all the attributes of your dream girl. What does she look like? What's her personality, height, weight? You get very, 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 very specific. And what happens is you activate that targeting mechanism in your subconscious mind. All of a sudden, this kind of chick just starts showing up because you've activated the targeting mechanism. And then in her mind, she's like, I should go to the store this day. I should go to the mall this day. And you're going to run into her because you've activated the targeting mechanism. And this is why so many people don't have the lives they want. They've activated no targeting. They're just out here living, waking up every day with no goals, no ambition, no dreams, going to sleep every night after watching mindless television. And they live like this day after day after day, year after year, decade after decade. Then one day, they're 80, 90 years old. And they're going like, what happened? What happened to my life? When I was a young boy, I had dreams. None of them came true. To quote Sally Mae Jones, who was a neighbor of mine when I was a young lad, well, I was knee-high to a grasshopper, and she used to have this saying, if you live long enough, one day you're going to be old. A lot of you are going to live long enough. Are you going to take 5 to 10 years out of your 80, 90, 100 years on this planet to build something? Let's say your name is Bob. Hey, Bob. And Bob, you're 32 years old. And Bob, you're going to live another 60 years. Bob, you're going to live another 60 years. You're 32. You haven't really activated the targeting mechanism. But now at 32, you're going to activate it. And from 32 to 40, you perform. You write goals. You accomplish goals. Your money goes up. You start that business. And you're 40 years old, You're making 150, 250, $300,000 a year. Your business it doesn't take as much to manage. You could take 3-4 trips a year and come back and the business still making money because you took 8 years out of your life to build the mechanism that will make the rest of your life comfortable. Poor people work harder than rich people. Let me say this again. Poor people work harder than rich people. Poor people are working in the oil fields. It's poor people driving these trucks. It's poor people flipping these fries. It's poor people standing out in the hot sun, flipping that sign from slow to stop. It's poor people. The name is back is writing that profile is a written contract to say what you go after and the permission to do it. Hey, that's one way of looking at it. Cosmic wisdom is crazy. You said that I have my next decade mapped out, and if I stick to my plan, the next 5 years will change the rest of my life. Afterwards, I'll be financially independent, God willing. I'm telling you, there was a study done at the number of people who graduate college that have written goals and have their it was ridiculously low. Like 2 to 3% of the population does this. 2 to 3% does this. And that's usually the 2 to 3% usually end up in the 1% financially. Like I said, this is what I'm doing. I'm mapping out my next decade, next 10 years. That's what I'm mapping out. What's up, Johnny? Short change, only 15% of Americans have 10,000 saved. 15% out of 330 million people. Let's see how many people that is. 330 million minus 283 million people don't have $10,000 saved. 283 million. Fahida, you heard about Jim Carrey writing himself a check when he was poor. I do. Extraordinary money. Only 5,400 people's net worth is above 500 million. There's only like 2,600 billionaires in the world. But by sitting down, like taking the Dream Girl profile and turn it into the Dream Life profile, what does your dream life look like? What does your best life look like? Now, it doesn't matter if you don't have it now. What matters is for you having the ability to see into the future, to see that life, to see, because, for me, one of the things that happened was I'm 53 years old. I don't look my age. I never acted my age. And when I go on to dating sites, I always lie about my age because, well, it's kind of funny. Typically, the younger women will never see you because they're going to have their filters set between a certain age range. And my current girlfriend is 26. She'll be 27 in February. She's half my age. And that's just typically because, I went younger. I tried 35. I didn't like 35, so I was like, I'm gonna try 27. And this is something you can do, because this didn't just happen. This just didn't, like, I woke up with a 27-year-old girlfriend. This was planned. I don't even look at women my age, because typically women my age with children are usually grandparents. They're trying to, I'm not a grandparent. I don't have no grandkids. I'm not trying to do little grandparent things. I'm not trying to max out I'll be eligible for the AAA discount in 2 years. I don't even care about that discount. I'm not looking forward to getting older so I can get stuff cheaper. I knew this one business owner, he was like waiting with bated breath where he could turn 67 and he'd get Social Security. Because he said paying his $1,100 a month for health insurance was a little onerous. Poor people don't touch books. Lonzel Adams. Poor people don't plan. That's true. Paul Lang, thanks for the $2 super chat. So I want you guys to see in the future. Forget where you are right now. Forget that you are living on someone's sofa. Forget that. I want you to see into the future. I want you to look at where you can be 2 to 3 years from now. And it's very important to look at that 2 to 3 year window, because it gives you a lot of time to accomplish the things you want to accomplish. It gives you time to get things in order, to get your business in order. It gives you time to set things up. It gives you time. Because see, once again, Bob, you're 32 years old. You start a business. In 3 years, you're making 150. In 8 years, you're doing $250,000, $300,000 a year. You're just 40 years old, and you're going to live for another 52 years. Can you imagine? That isn't working, because the text notifications, I'm going to work on that later. It isn't active. Just go ahead and get on the email list, because that was working very well. And then I ran into some problems with that. So, Junie, you're not blind. I'm going to have to get on that in 2020 and get that going again. But once again, Bob, are you willing to sacrifice 3 to 10 years of your life out of 90 years, 92 years, 94 years to get things rolling? Because see, when you look at it like, man, I've been working on this business for 2 months. It ain't getting no traction. They ain't made a sale. I'm going to give up. 2 months? Are you serious? Try working on your business for 12 months and see what happens. Try working on your business 24 months and see what happens. Here's what the process is. You're doing something you've never done before. You've never done this before. There are so many layers to learning how to make money, learning how to sell, learning how to market, learning how to be a business owner, getting used to having money. I know that sounds really strange. It's like, wait a minute, man, give me that money. I don't have to get used to getting money. The number of lottery winners who are only making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year who go broke in 3 to 5 years is because they're not used to having money. Getting used to having money, developing a comfort level with having 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $100,000 in the bank is a process, because you're going to have to be weird to have $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 in the bank and not go out and do something stupid like buy a Lambo or a Porsche. The name is most successful people have that prison time in their lives where they lock down and focus from where they set up an upward trajectory for their lives. I wouldn't call that prison time, but I would agree. Gentlemen's Driving Club, no notification, but I made it. What's up, man? One of the things that I want you guys to understand is success is a process. Success is a process. And one of the things that so many people don't understand about the process is it's a grooming process. It's going to take you time to become acclimated to being successful. Let's look at your background. Did you come from a successful family? Did you come from a family where your mom and dad were really diligent about living life the right way, saving money, investing? If you didn't come from that background, all this stuff's going to be new to you. It's going to be strange. It's going to be a little weird. And you got to get used to that. Shannon Brown, I've been watching you since the storage auction days. If anyone can't see that you practice what you preach, they are blind. Thank you, brother. Thank you for being around that long. You get, and this is why this 2 to 3 year process is so important, because you go from Joe, the guy at Crystals making fries, to Joe who owns this painting company now making $150K a year. Joe, you're probably the only one in your family doing what you're doing. You don't have nobody to talk to outside of other business owners. You have no one in your family you can talk to about this. And they just like, Joe sure has come up. Joe's doing all right. I wonder what Joe doing. Even though they see you with your paint stained pants, paint on your hands, they see the truck with the ladders, they still can't figure out what you're doing. They just know that you've come up. DACA attack. Do the service business have to be physical like painting and cleaning? No. In the course, which the link's below, I've got like 104 examples of service businesses. Lyndon, I just got one of your books in the mail. Which book did you buy? That's crazy. Yeah, I chose that font. I think it's a size 12 or 14. Oh, okay. Cool. Once again, Joe, I use painting because that's something you can start quick. I use car wash, you can start quick. Cleaning service, you can start quick. You can post an ad on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace and literally get business this week. That's why these businesses are so powerful. They're going to call Joe Dusty because he's not wasting his time and money like him. Dusty Joe. Oh, I think LSU's going to beat Clemson. You saw what Ohio State did to him. If Ohio State didn't make these he threw 2 picks. Turnover battle. Joe Burrow's not going to throw picks. You saw what happened to Clemson when they faced a real defense. They did not score 60, 70 points. And I think Ohio State just wasn't, Ohio State played them tough for about a quarter and a half. Whereas LSU's battle tested. LSU played Alabama. LSU played Texas A&M. I think they played Florida. and Auburn. So they ready. I think LSU is going to win the national championship because Clemson got beat up in the Ohio State game, which is another knock on Clemson because they don't play anybody and they don't get beat up like these other teams. Like when we played them that year, they could not stop Bo Scarsborough. Then Bo got hurt. And that was it. King Nick, yeah, YouTube hates me, man. YouTube hates me. They're not sending out notifications to everybody because I'm going to get the text notification list going again next year. But once again, Joe, Dusty Joe, you're going to have to go through this process that you're going to get a little weird. You're going to get a little weird because everyone around you is going to continue to do what they're doing. They're going to do that normal thing. And you working hard, you not taking weekends off, you putting it out, you showing up, you saving money. You're just going to be so dissimilar from most of the people you know. And that is a process because 2011 is when when I was working the storage auction business, I was making more money than my friends, but I did not have freedom because I was pretty much working, 6-7 days a week because the business demanded that. But 2011, that year that I made all that money and I had all that free time. And that's when it really started to show up. I started to know that my friends who could be on the phone in the middle of the day with my friends who could not. And I'm going to tell you, it was my friends who made the good money that could be on the phone or it could break away for lunch. These were the folks with the 100, 150, 200, $300,000 a year jobs. But, regular folks couldn't do that. The name is, so step one is the dream life profile. Yes, because I want you guys to write up your dream life profile. What is your dream life? How do you want to live? Because, I've talked about this, but I'll give you the steps. Let's say your name is Andrew, and Andrew, you're 18 years old and you're watching this video and you're like, I can actually dream the life that I want. Yes, Andrew, you can. You can sit down and write out. Let's say you want to live on the beach. So you would Google living on the beach and you will Google the properties on the beach around the country. Pick wherever you want to be. You could be Florida, California, North Carolina, somewhere in Texas. You could be in beachfront property. So once you do that and you find out that the beach house is going to cost you like $500,000 to a few million, you're like, what kind of business can I start to get me there? Because you go ahead and you dream the life that you want. It's like, do you want to get married? Do you want a stay-at-home wife? So it's like, okay, I want this beach house. I want to get married. I want to have 2.5 kids, a dog. How much is this going to take me about making $250,000, $300,000 a year? Then you start working on whatever makes you $250,000, $300,000 a year. It's just that simple. And most people never, ever do this. Most people never sit down Can you offer a course on developing an ironclad operating agreement? Auto Link Entertainment, that's going to be part of the art of holding. And essentially, let's talk about this agreement stuff. Agreements are only good as the partners who sign them. If it kind of reminds me of this old expression, locks are for honest people. So, because let me tell you, I had an agreement a few years ago where I was going to produce this YouTube channel for this girl. She had a great personality. The channel would have did great. So I got her to sign the agreement, which was very fair. I was going to film. I was going to do all this other stuff. Then she told her people, and her people wigged out. And because essentially in the agreement was that if any of the music stuff took off on the YouTube channel because she could write songs, that I would get, half. And they were like, oh, no, no, no. And then they wanted me to tear up that agreement, and while they work something out, let's give us a little time to work something out. So I have a rule that I'm not going to work without an agreement, because I was already working for free. I didn't know if it was, I felt it was going to be successful, but I didn't know it was going to be successful. And I knew it was going to take a few months to really get it rolling, right? And they wanted me just to tear up the agreement and come up with whatever they came up with, because there was all of these agreements and stuff. And I went to Vid Summit, and I was talking to an entertainment lawyer, and he had to give me some very good advice. He's like, look, you could sue her, but is it going to be worth it? And he's like, the best agreements work when both parties are operating in good faith and both parties show up. So, with these ironclad agreements, you can lock someone down on a legal contract, but if they're going to be a yard bird, they still going to be a yard bird. You can't make grown folks act right. They have to act right on their own accord. So, which goes back to integrity, and it goes back to who they are as a person. So, all right, Coach Carol. Because one of the things that I want you guys to understand is this whole process of becoming successful, I've told you about. And this is why so many people on the internet have such a hard time being sustainably successful. Anyone could create a little course or something and make, $10,000, $15,000 one time. Do that one time. Do that month after month, year after year. You own to something. But, this is where so many people run into problems. I'm in this ClickFunnels group, and I didn't realize there were people in there who've never made any money online. They've not made one single dollar online. And one of the things they don't understand is you got to get attention online. Without attention, you can't present. And if you can't present, you can't sell. It's just that simple. And they don't know these basics. And like the basics of success, you got to level out. Because once again, having bad money habits will create so much stress in your life. I got a friend, he married this chick, and I was honest with him. I was like, I don't think you should marry her, but he fell in love with Big Booty Betty. She cute as the day is long. She's sweet. Even though she knows I told her husband not to marry her, she's still decent to me. But she has low impulse control. And currently she has him $250,000 in debt. Because she likes to shop. She likes these Christian Louboutins, pretty girls, sexy girls. She likes to dress. She likes her jewels. She's riding around in a $90,000 Mercedes. Because, he was cool, but he was never at my level. So he didn't have my kind of money. So he's doing this on credit. And he's stressing. It's like, man, I got all these bills. I got to make sure I get these contracts to keep this money coming in, to pay these bills, to keep Big Booty Betty. She got a big booty too. She really does. And I told him not to marry her. BC Williams ain't that much fun in the world. Hey, I told him, like I said, she's sweet as the day is she long. She sex him up on the regular, because he's stressing, but he's like, I go home and she look at me in those big brown eyes. Next thing I know, we in the bedroom, and it's like, y'all choose them. It is make more money. He saw this. I mean, she came in the door with her hand out. He was taking care of her 2 years before they got married. So I was like, you know, this is what you're doing now. Imagine once it becomes legal. Timothy LaFleur, hey Glenn, and I have a question where I contacted a prominent real estate investor where I would be his bird dog, but I'm transitioning to the IT field and should be hired March or April. I mean, what do you want your feedback on? Do both. Take the job and in your free time, be his bird dog. I don't really see the conflict. Lewis, I'm about to have a kid. What do I do? Be the best damn dad you can be. I don't know. Ask a question that's more clear. What do you need guidance on? Rob, so true. Craigslist and FB both messed me up by changing rules. FB suspended my account, ain't Craigslist deletes my ads, and it ain't good through the paid ads should work. I mean, these platforms, they third-party platforms that behave in their own best interest. Should just focus on one task at a time. Timothy LaFleur, do you have the money to bird dog and be his real estate bird dog and not get paid for a few months? I mean, once again, here I don't tell you to quit your job until your job interferes with your business. Hey, sure thing, Lewis. Rob, that being said, the best thing anybody can do is take action ASAP, get it while it's good and before the rules change. I remember when eBay got rid of our accounts, suspended our accounts. We were stroking it out, had a great unit, and that was 68% of our income. eBay represented 68% of our income. Really wasn't doing too much on Amazon. We started to move all of the books to Amazon and do merchant fulfill because once we got the book inventory up, it took like 6 months because the first month we only made like $300. But after 6 months of putting books up, we got up to consistently where we can get $6,000 to $10,000 a month from Amazon. That was a big help. Then, eBay was still clocking once because I got suspended off eBay so many times. I even had an old video around here somewhere, how to get back on eBay after you get suspended, because I had it down to a science. Because they would just get rid of you for making too much money. Just the strangest thing. So, once again, sit down and ask yourself, what kind of life do you want to live? Where do you want to live? Do you want to live in another country? This is yours to choose. You can choose this by writing up your dream life profile. What's my dream life look like? Does your dream life include a dog? If it doesn't, write it down. Does your dream life include being close to family? What can you do financially that enables you to live your dream life? But first of all, you've got to activate the targeting mechanism. The first time I used this is a superpower that we all have. You have it. Everyone's watching this stream has this superpower. And the superpower is the ability to target your subconscious mind to what you want in life. And I remember, because it just came to me, because I had read The Power of Your Subconscious Mind like 10 times. In summer of 2011, I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I wrote down the kind of chick that I wanted to meet on Craigslist. I was like, I am going to meet blah, blah, blah. She's going to be this tall. She's going to be this house. She's going to have this type of disposition. 3 days later, that chick showed up. And I started doing this more and more often, and I started getting repeatable results. So you can do this. Activate the targeting mechanism in your mind towards your desires. And once again, this is not, quote, well, it is kind of the law of attraction, but there's more to it. because I would write up the Dream Girl profile, then I would post an ad. So I wrote up the profile, then I took action. And that works like a mofo. That works like a mofo. Writing it down, then taking action that is directed toward what you want. That will work so well. And I want all of you to sit down and write out your dream life profile and activate the targeting mechanism. I mean, it's just so funny. Short change, what are you talking about? It gets worse. Some guys don't even have an ID card or driver's license. What are you talking about? Because one of the things that I want you guys to do is activate your targeting mechanisms and start writing your goals down. Everyone's got a goal that's kind of fuzzy in their head. Once you write it down in a specific manner, that ratchets up the targeting mechanism. I mean, once you start doing this stuff, you're going to repeat it because it's going to work so well for you. You're going to be able to target. You're going to be able to get certain things going. You're going to be able to start seeing these results. Because one of the things I want you guys to realize is you can live the life that you want if you choose the life that you want. All right, Timothy, you can live the life you want if you choose. Polly Robinson, I think I need to switch it up. I write stuff like you advised, but has yet to actualize. Are you taking action? Write it down, then take action. That action part is really, really critical. Like when I was having amazing success on Craigslist, I was writing it down and I was posting ads. Wording, yes, wording does matter. Because you got to write it like it's happening. I got a whole course on that. I will be putting that in the B School for Hustlers because it's a sequencing, it's the way that you sequence it and the way that you set it up. And it's how I used to do, because I'm going to get back to that in 2020. Ever since I had the heart attack and stuff, a lot of stuff just fell off. And it's just starting to come back. Like my memory was jacked for about 3 months. I couldn't even remember how to get into my bank accounts. I put in what I thought was the right ID, user ID so many times that it locked me out and I had to call the bank to get back in. It is so important for you to know where you're going before you get there. That is critical. You need to know where you're going before you get there. That is a powerful, powerful, powerful thing. Once you have your destination already in your mind, that's killer. That's just killer, because once you activate the targeting mechanism in your subconscious mind and you start taking action, it like super, it's like Dragon Ball Z. It ratchets your power level up. Sky Blevin, what I'm finding is matching a strength for the problem that people need solved and niche up the hedge against saturation. Don't worry about competition. Alex Becker did a video talking about getting in these niches where it's going to be harder. I disagree with him a little bit because finding some niche that there aren't a lot of people in is really going to be challenging. 2009, yeah, it just wasn't as many people on the internet. It's just because in 2009, There were so many people who did not know you could make money online. Just didn't know it, didn't believe in it. That's changed a lot in the last 10 years. A lot of people know you can make money online. A lot of these kids, especially these kids, they actually know a YouTuber in their high school who making bread. They know someone, or they know someone on Instagram with a large following. They know somebody. So the word has gotten out. Thank you, Timothy. Short change. Low income does not make you poor. Poor management. Yeah, that does have a degree in it. What's up, Ernest? Yeah, YouTube's a hater. But you got to know where you want to go. Is it me or Alex getting less salesy and more introspective? Somebody got him. Tenafly Hansen. Alex is a super smart guy. And he knows that this minimalism thing, like if you go to Dave, what's his name? Dave, he has a channel. It's less than 2 years old. He's a million something subscribers because he's a minimalist. Minimalism, like there's a guy who has a financial channel, but he's a minimalist. That minimalist tag will open up so many more doors that Alex would have never got into if he didn't present that. I mean, you got to understand, Alex has enough money where he could just rent that place to do his videos and still live like he was living. I don't think he actually lives there. I don't think he actually got rid of all this stuff. I don't know. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But, and Alex is getting older. Because this is something that's going to happen to each and every one of you. The things that were important to you at 25 will not be as important to you at 35. They just won't. Like this whole going out and staying out to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, that's just never been me. And there's some people that's 25, 28. Then they woke up at 32 with a pain somewhere. You're like, what is this? What's going on? Then things started to change. But once again, you got to know where you're going if you want to get there. You got to know. You've got to understand the process of getting what you want out of life, because it's all about you choosing. And many people will just kind of stumble upon a life, but very few people choose to live the way that they're living. They may choose to remain there, but they didn't really pick this stuff in the first place. Because all of the people who are out here with low income do not understand that they don't have a income problem, they have a skill set problem. They don't have good skill sets. They don't have the ability to create a high income skill set. They don't want to, and this is also another issue. A lot of people don't want to do hard things. I don't want to be in sales. My mindset has been like this for many years. And I got to remember it was hard changing my mindset, because this is going to be the hardest thing you do. You got to change your mindset without immediate results. That's going to be the hardest trick you pull off, changing your mindset. Because one day when I came to the conclusion while I was in that boarding house, and I was like, okay, you made a mistake. You didn't save money. You didn't do this. Took ownership of my situation, and I started making better decisions. It took like 6 months for the decisions to start to be felt, because I was making good decisions, but there was like no magic genie, like, pow down, man, we're going to do something good for you for making that good decision. No, that didn't happen. I had to make good decisions consistently for months before I started to see the benefits of those decisions. So that's going to be one of the biggest challenges you're going to make with this new mindset, because you developed a new mindset like saving money. And this is how I recommend people start saving money. Start with $5, because you may want to pull 500 out your check and throw it in savings. But see, what's going to happen is something's going to happen. And you're going to have to go into savings and get that $500 out. And then you're going to feel bad. Then you're going to become disenfranchised and disenchanted. And you're going to stop doing it. But if you put $5 in there, then, all right, once $5 is easy, then we're going to raise it to 10. Then we're going to raise it to 20. Then we're going to raise it to 25 a week. And what'll happen is, over a period of time, the money will stay in the savings account. And money attracts money. Once you get your first 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 in there, then it will be easier for you to throw that 500 on it and let it stick, because you have created a habit of saving money. A habit. It's $5 a week, man. Barbie, short change, very true. It's not even New Year's yet, and people already calling my phone asking to borrow $50. This is something I saw on Christmas Eve. Someone's power was cut off, and she was on Facebook asking for help for someone to pay her power bill. Tracy, see, yeah, because see, once again, you got to build a habit. $5 a week, then $10 a week, then $25 a week, and once you get it built, after about 2 or 3 months, then saving becomes super easy. BC Williams got an online savings account that deposits a bit each month. It's online, so I'm not tempted to withdraw for it. Once again, you got to ladder up into saving and putting away money, because the thing is, it's the habit of putting money away. Once you develop a habit, it's just easy. Because the behavior is a habit. Oh, at this time, I throw X dollars into this account. It's a habit. It's very easy. Like, how many times have you moved, right? And you were in your old neighborhood and you drove to where you used to live? How many times have you moved and you just on the road where you used to live, then you just went to your old house? Eternal Bliss, credit unions typically don't have monthly fees, so in that regard, they're better. How many people have done that? Moved and then got with your old neighborhood and just drove where you used to live, or you were started driving, like, why am I going here? Because it was a habit. Jelani Copeland, I remember saving my first 1,000, right around 700, momentum started building. I noticed I started stashing more and more. It became very easy from that point. Jelani, that's the thing. You once you build a habit, then, let's say, it's 3 months down the road, you got 1,500, then you work a little overtime and you want to take 500 from your check and put it into the savings account. More than likely, that's going to stick because you've built a habit of saving. BC, sure, like autopilot. And that's one of the things, because habits are stronger than willpower. Willpower can be used to help you establish a habit, but you want to change the behavior, your money behavior, because the money behaviors are so important with long-term success. I mean, and this is something I'm starting to see with YouTube. Like, a lot of these guys with these successful YouTube channels, like Kevin Edwards, who's been on YouTube 12 years, because for some reason he came up in my recommendations, and I saw that he's got a gaming channel that has blown up. He's got several channels, but the gaming channel's got like 5 million subscribers. And that's where the majority of his money is coming. And he's taking that money and he's got 20 rental properties. So he's got the Lambo, the Rolls Royce, the big house, the interracial wife, got the family channel with the cute kids. He got it all. So, everybody's starting to come to this place of financial responsibility because he's paying cash for these houses. He's got 20 houses that he's paid cash for, that he's getting this monthly residual income month after month, year after year for these 20 houses. And, real motivation. He's like, he had a business, but he said real estate changed his life. So you're getting a lot of people who are getting hip to this. And this is the importance of saving money because, like I said, I want you guys to get to 150K a year. Because at that level, you could break off $50,000 in 1 year for an investment. Easy. The name is, I had a homeboy tell his girl after he got caught, the reason he was at his ex's because he was in the habit of driving over there. Good Lord, could be true. Still a little messy. But once again, that's happened to me several times that, because once you move, because it only lasts like a week or two, but you're in the old neighborhood and then you just like start driving to your old house. Because it's a habit. And once this habit's ingrained, because now I've been here almost 2 years, so my habit is here, to come here. And developing that habit with money is such a powerful thing to do. It's incredibly powerful what it will do for your financial life. It's amazing. Well, yeah, because a lot of people are trying to put it off because it would make Trump look very bad. Anything to do with Amazon, I'm not like a big fan. I know there are people making millions and millions of dollars off of Amazon, but I also know how easy it is for Amazon to get rid of you. And, people who are, I got a lot of friends who do Amazon FBA, and the topic has changed. How long do you continue to do Amazon? A lot of people are moving away from it because one day you could be stroking it out and then you can make one little mistake, bam, you gone. So, private label, you're establishing a brand through Amazon systems. And as long as you play by all the rules and do everything you need to do, you're good. But my opinion is that kind of energy should go to building your own website and building your own traffic, because you're not going to shut yourself down. No toilet breaks in Amazon. Amazon is more strict than eBay from my research. I've known several people who've gotten removed from Amazon. I know one guy, he got removed. They would not restore his account, and they kept $200,000 worth of inventory and wanted to charge him to destroy it. $200,000. It's like, we could ship it back to you for something like 80,000, or we can destroy it. And it was a lot of money, and he wasn't getting no more money. His money just stopped. His name is Kevin Harmon. You can Google his story, because now he's like an Amazon consultant. Because he can make, he knows how to build an Amazon business. He just could not use their platform with his name. Now, anyone who starts a business on Amazon, you need to start it under an LLC, because if that LLC gets suspended, not a problem. You can just start another LLC. Once again, one of the benefits of an LLC. Definitely underestimated. I finally realized saving for investments is the goal. I saved $4K this month. Once you focus on the cash, it will come a lot faster. Pretty much. Yeah, I'm just not a fan because like I did go on this channel and Google no eBay, no Amazon, more money, and you'll see a lot of the stuff I predicted because there were so many people who were just like, it just makes sense to go on Amazon. And I'm just like, if you're gonna put that much time and effort and energy into some, build your own business and learn how to run your own traffic. You got all these kids who are doing these Shopify stores, and some of them are killing it. They're not doing Amazon, and they're making more money. Amazon is karma inducing. That's crazy. So if you're gonna put that kind of time and effort into it, and also to start up on Amazon private labeling, you're gonna need about 20K because you're gonna have to put X amount of product on there, sell it super low so you get feedback so it ranks higher in the Amazon system. I mean, you may not even be able to take Amazon's money home once they get rid of you, because once they get rid of you, if they're holding a payout, they're not paying you. Because Kevin got suspended 3 days before he was supposed to get a payout. And they kept that money. And he could not, let me see, there's his story on here. Kevin Harmon. Here it is. Warner suit against 3P sellers. There's an interesting article. Kevin Harmon, in one interesting case, the defendant, Kevin Harmon, was using the FBA. You imagine there'd be low chance of buying counterfeits through FBA sellers since it's been packed by Amazon. But according to Harmon, the fake item was indeed sent by Amazon, but was another FBA seller. He pointed out that Amazon had a policy of commingling, which meant his DVDs were combined with other sellers and the DVDs was the same item and condition. So that's how Kevin lost his account. I mean, Amazon, I like. Janine, thanks for the answer. By the way, I was referring to using your own platform instead of eBay and Amazon. I've always known you preached about having your own website for these exact reasons. Oh yeah, definitely. I know, Mark Smith, if you're going to do an Amazon FBA, do it under an LLC. If something funky happens, then that LLC gets banned, not you. And a lot of people do it in their own name. The name is, they're pretty much the same. The only reason that I got off Teachable is they changed this Teachable payout things, and I don't like Teachable's way of creating your custom domain. They do it really strange, so that's an issue. So, think of it, if I've been using 5 years and I've had no problems. Not the kind of problems I had with Teachable, but essentially they do the same thing. All right, Xavier, just started out. I'm paying my rent 6 months ahead so I can solely focus on working for myself. 2020 is the year of the dollar. A lot of places won't let you pay rent that far in advance. So if you've got someone that will take that money, good for you. All right, so letting you guys know that the specials are coming to an end. If you're on the email list, you'll get an email, and you can go below and get the How to Start a Service Business course, because all prices and stuff are going up. So with that, I will see you guys later.